Since 1970, Suzuki has been producing small off-roaders for the masses. If you want one of these, they are actually very affordable. In my opinion, there are 3 cars which I would personally recommend: the Vitara, the Samurai, and the 3rd generation Jimny. All these 3 cars are perfect small off-roaders if you're getting into the off-road scene on a budget. The Samurai was produced back in 1981. It was built as a replacement for the LJ, which was a military jeep for civilians. However, this one was bigger, it had more power, and it had a larger engine. The engine was 1.3 litres in size and produced 64 horsepower, but this car weighs a lot less than a tonne, so it's not too bad. This car was produced under 4 different manufacturers and came under 12 names. Good points? Well, this car's very small, so it's going to be very economical to run. It's Japanese, so it's really nice and reliable. Most versions come with 4-wheel drive as standard. It's actually very economical, and there are loads produced, and also, it's just cool. It's just got such a cool factor about it. However, there are a few bad points, chief among which is the rust. Rust usually kills these. These are built in Japan where they don't use salt on the roads. They are very small, so there's not a lot of space for, stuff. But another problem is that in the UK at least, they're starting to become very, very uncommon. Unmodified examples are rare, but they are still very cheap. The 3rd generation Jimny was a huge change. It featured a new body, it featured a new engine, it featured a new interior. In fact, this was just a much better car that was built just in time for the millennium. It came with more power, 85 horsepower from a new engine with variable valve timing. Still a 1.3 litre, so still very economical. This car was super popular. In fact, it was produced all the way until Good points. There are loads of upgrade parts for this car currently available. There are loads of these cars available. They're super common, and they're very, very reliable. The interior is also a bit more spacious. However, there are some bad points, chief among which is the ride. It's terrible. I've been in one, it's awful. The interior is just seriously outdated for a car built in 2018, and for an SUV, it lacks space, which is not a good thing. Cheap examples usually have very high mileage. You're looking at £5,000 if you want a good one. The Mark 1 Vitara would be probably one of my favourite cars on the list. It's the bigger cousin of the Samurai and the Jimny. So this car was produced back in the 90s mainly, and it had a larger 1.6 litre engine. You could get it with the 1.3, but don't. In fact, the 1.6 litre engine, 16 valve, is the most common. It produces 95 horsepower, which in a car which is still pretty light isn't too bad. And this car actually it's just cool all round. In America, this is called the Geo Tracker or the Suzuki Sidekick. Again, it's got loads of different names. It was produced by other manufacturers as well, including Holden and Geo. So they're all the same car. You can sort of interchange parts. So that's a pretty good thing about this car. Good points about the Vitara. Well, it's more powerful. In some markets, it can produce 140 horsepower, and it's available with 2 extra cylinders, which is a great thing. It's also more spacious, and it's just really good off-road. Also, this car's got a much better ride than the Jimny and the Samurai, which is a common point which causes people to complain. So the Vitara is just iconic. If you look after this car, it will appreciate, much like all the iconic off-roaders like the Defender and the Ford Bronco. Like the other Suzukis, this thing rusts really, really quickly, and it's becoming less and less common, which is not good news. In good condition, these are still very cheap. So which one to buy? The Samurai is best if you want an investment because unmodified examples are highly sought after. The 3rd generation Jimny is very good if you want a more modern daily / off-roader, and the Vitara is good if you want some space. So depending on what you want, take your pick. They're all very good options and they are going to suit you well in the long term. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe for more in the future, and until next time, goodbye.